Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Flame, and welcome all your faces back to a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield anime discussion. And the leaks, finally, we have them, man. I am so excited that we have now got episode titles and descriptions for future episodes of Sword and Shield. As I am recording this video, we are less than 3 days away from the Sword and Shield games releasing worldwide. I'm so excited to get my hands on it, play it, and stream it. And comment down below, what are you guys? Are you Team Sword or are you Team Shield? I always figure there's always a rivalry every single year or every single time when a Pokemon game comes out. It's kind of like when you look at PlayStation versus Xbox. There's always like a little bit of a rivalry of what game is the most superior. I don't know, but comment down below. I'd love to know. But either way, guys, before I begin into this video, I want to say one thing. This is going to be massive spoilers for the anime. It's giving off the titles and the descriptions of what they're going to be. So if you're waiting every single week within an episode, and the only kind of, I guess, spoiler territory you're going to see is for the next preview of the next episode if you're watching the anime. So if you want to keep yourself safe and not have any spoilers or whatever, I definitely recommend clicking off this video right now. There's 5 episodes that give the titles and the descriptions, and then there's also 3 more that just give the titles but no descriptions. But still, that's 8 episodes moving forward within Sword and Shield in the anime. We're going to be getting a lot of these throughout the year. It's always kind of like been like a Pokemon tradition that every single time an episode pops up, we'll immediately get like 2 leaks within 2 episodes of the Pokemon. So I'm saying it right now, just if you guys want, click off this video. Much appreciated if you guys tune in for this part. But if you guys don't care and you want to know the information, I got you here. So November the 17th, this is going to be the first ever episode of the Sword and Shield anime. This is going to be the 1-hour special we're all looking forward to. And this episode, I am so shocked that we have never had one yet for Pokemon. It's been going on for 2 decades, and Pikachu is the crown. It's literally the star of Pokemon. Like, it's the face of it. And ever since this beginning, we never really got a full description of Pikachu. We never really had his backstory and what he came to be and why he hated trainers in the first place. I'm mentioning, you know, the first episode of Kanto when Ash doesn't get his starter because everyone goes, of course, to get the starters and he's late. Like Gary, for example, gets a Squirtle and eventually goes to Blastoise. But Ash, he never really got the starters until, you know, later on in Kanto. He gets Pikachu for the very first time, and we're wondering, why does he hate trainers in the first place? We never really got a full description. And now in 2019, we are finally getting this episode. So I'm gonna read the full description right here, and then I'll talk about it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about here. So in a forest somewhere in Kanto, there once was a lonely Pichu. This Pichu was still very young, went through a certain encounter and farewell. This all took place shortly before Satoshi, aka Ash, and his partner Pikachu started their journey. This is the story of how everything began. This must first see episode not only depicts Satoshi, aka Ash, Go, and Pichu hadn't become a Pikachu yet at the time as children, but also shows us the scene from the first episode for the first Pocket Monsters, aka Pokemon anime series, where now the 10-year-old Ash meets Pikachu from Pikachu's point of view. So that's incredible right there, man. That is so cool that this whole entire first hour special is going to be focused on Pikachu being a Pichu at first, if he had a family or not, or maybe he had a previous trainer, and eventually went to Ash and of course into Oak's lab, and they begin their journey throughout, you know, 2000 to 2019 now, depending on how long the anime has been. And that's incredible, man. Like, that's something that I've always wanted, but we never got. So for the first hour, just focusing on Pikachu and his point of view, I like that because I feel like they're going to give a lot of character development within this series. Like, we know everything about Ash already, his backstory, you know, his old companions, his mother, Professor Oak, everything like that we know of Ash's backstory. But just from a Pokemon's backstory, I think it's really cool and interesting because, like I said, Pikachu is the face of Pokemon, if you even like the Pokemon or not. It just, that's it. Like, everyone loves Pikachu. So to finally get a backstory on this beloved character, I'm very happy about that, and I think it's going to turn out great for the first episode of Pocket Monsters or Pokemon for the 1-hour special at this point. But either way, we're going to continue on right here. November 24th, the second episode on Lugia, they go, Satoshi and Go. Satoshi, aka Ash, gets invited by Professor Okudo to attend the opening ceremony of the Sagari Laboratories in Kushiba City. But during the ceremony, he senses the appearance of a gigantic Pokemon and goes to the port, where he sees Lugia appear before another Pokemon trainer that got there before him. A new adventure now begins for these two. Satoshi and Pikachu head to Sagari Laboratories, which have just opened up in Kushiba City. Kanto, together with Professor Okudo at the lab, they hear about a ordinary Pokemon appearing in Kushiba City's port, so they run there to have a battle. Meanwhile, a local boy named Go is certain he knows what Pokemon this is and heads to the port as well. And what's really cool about this is I'm going to have his description down below, Ash and Serena over on Twitter. This is all the information, by the way, that I have gathered, so make sure to go and follow him on Twitter. There's been some clips as well, like the Team Rocket intro, the port right here with Go, which I just talked about in this episode, and then there's more backstory of Ash and Go. And I gotta hand it right here, the one thing that I give Sun and Moon credit for was the comedy. I think the comedy was hilarious, and I kind of like it how they're bringing that back with Go and Ash to kind of have that bond and friendship together, that if they hate each other or like each other or have a fun time, some of the moments are really cool. So I have the videos down in the description below. I can't put the full videos here on YouTube due to reasons, but I'll at least have some images. But if you guys want to go and watch those 3 clips, I definitely have it down in the description below, and make sure to go and follow Ash and Serena as well for all this information. But that seems a little bit cool. So, you know, we're gonna get Pikachu's backstory for the very first episode, and then the second episode is gonna be focusing on Ash and the Kanto region meeting Go for the very first time, which is to be expected because these are gonna be the 2 main characters we're gonna be following throughout the Sword and Shield anime, and eventually maybe we'll see old companions of Ash in the future. Either way, we're gonna move on. So December 1st, the 3rd episode, Bulbasaur is quite mysterious, don't you think so? Satoshi and Go have become research fellows at the Sagari Laboratories in Kushiba City, Kanto. Their first job is to investigate a mysterious march of Bulbasaur in the city. They immediately go to the city where they see all the Bulbasaur all heading towards a certain location. Satoshi and Go are about to discover the secret of Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. So, in my personal opinion, if we're seeing old companions, are we going to be seeing previous events within Pokemon history? Just because this episode description right here, it reminds me of the Mysterious Garden back in Kanto. This was the huge development of Ash's Bulbasaur back in the day. If you guys have not watched that episode or are a younger audience, I definitely would recommend watching the Kanto series again. It was so good, and to see the Mysterious Guardian, if this is actually the truth of it, that's going to be awesome. This is why Sword and Shield is literally bumping up to me of excitement. It could be possibly the best series in the anime without a doubt if we're going to previous events. Like, if we're seeing old companions and previous events, what more could you get from that? That is incredible. So maybe we'll see Ash's Bulbasaur again and go to the Mysterious Garden. Who knows at that point, but I just love it how that's going to be episode 3 right there and probably past events. So I think that's a really cool development of what they have. So episode 8, the 4th episode, let's go to the Galar region and encounter with Scorbunny. So people are surprised but not surprised at the exact same time on this. You know from this series that they're going to every single region, and I'm going to say 150 episodes for example of what this series has in total. So that's like what, 15 to 20 episodes within each region. There's 8 regions currently now within the series, and you would think that they would go in order, right? Like they would go Kanto, they would go Johto, and etc. forth, and we wouldn't see Galar until next year. It's understandable because the games are coming out, and you know, right at the start of December it would be reasonable to put Galar in here. And knowing from Scorbunny, that is Go's Pokemon. You know how Ash has Pikachu, Go is going to be with Scorbunny at this point. So we're going to be getting development from Scorbunny and seeing their kind of journey within Galar a little bit right here. My internal guess for this whole entire series is that I feel like they're just going to have missions. And what I mean about, you know, the leaks that we saw of Ash and Go staying out, of course, Sagari Laboratories, where we saw like the 2 bunk beds, for example, and then we saw like this teleportation system. My personal guess is maybe they'll get missions, go in this teleportation system, and then go to different regions. So maybe we'll see 2 episodes in Hoenn, and suddenly we'll go right to Unova or right to Kalos or whatever it might be there. I think it's going to be missions. I don't think it's going to be just them in Kanto for a little bit and then they'll go to Johto. Like, I thought maybe it would be down that line, but what we get from the leaks and from the episode titles right here, I think they're just going to have missions and go to like these teleportation systems, because I don't really see them going on to like an airport, for example, flying to a different region back and forth. I just feel like that would be kind of stupid, and to kind of like build the audience and the hype a little bit, I think a teleportation system would be a little bit cool. But either way, the description of this episode says Ash and Go have heard there's a phenomenon in the Galar region that causes Pokemon to grow in gigantic sizes. The 2 of them immediately head there in order to investigate this phenomenon. When they arrive in Shoot City Galar, they get thoroughly engrossed in the beautiful cityscape and the local specialty scones, but then they encounter a group of Pokemon they've never seen before that are playing pranks around the city. So we don't really know kind of Pokemon these are yet. We have no idea. This could definitely be a whole new species of Pokemon. The Galar region, we don't really know this phenomenon about the Dynamax yet. You know, we don't even have the games yet. So eventually when we get the games and we discover it, then it's going to be anticipated into the anime. We're going to learn that backstory and so on and so forth. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. They're in Galar in the 4th episode, and it's going to be a must see. And I eventually, like, of course, you know, Go will get his Scorbunny, and then they'll see all the Pokemon there. So December 15th, so without a doubt here, these episodes, they don't have any other descriptions, just the episode titles. So for the next episode, December 15th right here, we have Snorlax grows gigantic, the mystery of Dynamax. So this is going to get the full description of Dynamax. We might even see the professor in the Galar region right here, her assistant, and learn more about the Dynamax at this point. You know, in Pokemon, it's kind of been like a tradition now, like what we see with the Z crystals or Mega Evolution, and of course this region, it really focuses on the Dynamax feature. So we're going to get a lot of description about that, and probably even see the professor at this point as well. So here we go, we have 3 more episodes, which episode 7 is not on here, which I'm confused about. Maybe he mistyped this, but either way, we don't have 7 on here. But episode 6, so right after that Dynamax, you know, kind of description that we have, I'm gonna get a ton of Pokemon, the road to Mew. This is gonna be Go's goal, basically, to catch every single Pokemon at this point. I feel like right when he encounters Mew and he sees all his Pokemon, this is gonna be his journey to see if he can catch every single Pokemon there is possible. So I think at that point, they might be back in Kanto at this point, and he sees Mew here and tries to go for every single Pokemon with the Scorbunny. I think that's going to be a little bit interesting at that point. 7, there's no description, which kind of sucks. Episode 8 right here is what is exciting me the most in about Old Companions. Don't give in, Piplup, and Ice Flow Race in the Sinnoh region. This is what I mean about a teleportation system where they're in just in Kanto, they're in Galar, and now they're in Sinnoh at this point. I think it's just kind of missions they were getting back and forth with Sakurai and his laboratories in Kanto, and eventually go to different regions. But what I love about this, and what I'm saying about our Old Companion, is don't give in Piplup. I feel like this is not just a random Piplup. This could potentially be Dawn's Piplup from the Sinnoh region. And this is what I'm gonna love so much, is that if we're getting past events like the Mysterious Garden, why not we get Old Companions at the exact same time? Because I don't see them having a random Piplup in the Sinnoh region. I just do not see that as well. I think the perfect description of a Piplup would be Dawn's, and that's the perfect one that we have, that we've seen within the series so far. So Dawn potentially in episode 8 of the Sword and Shield anime series with Ash and Go. Who knows right there? I think it's going to be very exciting. But episode 9, the final one that we get at this point, the pledge we made that day, the Ho-Oh legend in the Johto region. So now, immediately they're in Johto. This is what I'm talking about, missions in the teleportation system. That they were just in Sinnoh in the last episode, and now they're in Johto. And Ho-Oh has been a staple for Ash and his whole Pokemon legacy, right? Ever since he bonded with Pikachu after those fighting with Spearows within the rain, he sees Ho-Oh flying by. It was in the movie as well. It was a beautiful moment and scene. So to see Ho-Oh here, like we already just saw Lugia, now we're getting Ho-Oh in episode 9, and those are the first 9 episodes that we have so far of the Sword and Shield anime series. So it's pretty exciting, but I think that a lot of people might get confused that they're going back and forth between regions. We'll see Sinnoh in one episode, then we'll go to Galar and Kanto and so on and so forth. So I don't really know how they're going to do it, but I think it's going to be pretty interesting, and I love it that we have the descriptions right here. But just in case, one more time right here, definitely guys, go and follow Ash and Serena on Twitter. He gives the best descriptions and the possible news for the Sword and Shield anime games, and even the anime in general. That's the information I have for you guys all here today. Hope that you guys all enjoyed. It's definitely an exciting moment for us fans for the Sword and Shield anime series. It's so close, guys. We are 5 days away from the anime debuting, and we are 3 days away from the games. It's going to be such a good month here for November for Pokemon, and hope you guys have a fun time as well. But if you guys all enjoyed this, make sure of course to leave a like, comment down below what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this, and subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But much love, guys, and of course we'll see you guys in more Sword and Shield anime news here soon. Much love, and as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.